Hey guys, welcome back. And today I'm going to be talking about something that someone actually asked about in a comment and requested that I kind of breach that topic. And that is cancer patients or family members who have cancer and how that impacts their intimacy with their spouse. Yeah, I'm going to do my best not to blush as I talk about this. Generally, we're pretty, open, and we've promised that when we talk about things like sex and things like that, especially with our son, like as he's getting older, that it's really important to be open and honest about those topics and things. But I always find myself wanting to blush regardless. So, so here we go. I mean, the big thing, I'm not going to go into like gory details or anything like that. I don't think that's necessary when addressing this topic. I think the biggest thing is, it isn't even so much the embarrassment, because I'm not embarrassed about anything like that, especially with Josh and our relationship, but I do feel a level of guilt around, the lack of intimacy that we have had since my first diagnosis, but not more importantly, but more specifically around this last diagnosis where it's in my bones and it's causing just my body to hurt so much that we are not nearly as intimate as we used to be. And part of that is just simply because my body doesn't really want to cooperate. And especially when, a lot of the pain is around like my lower back and my hips and my pelvis and stuff, that makes things tricky. But there's more to it than that. And there were definitely, even from my very first diagnosis, when it was just in the lymph nodes in my neck after we found the mole, there's definitely a huge impact that can happen to married couples or partners that I don't think is something that is very commonly addressed, or at least not that I have seen. There have been different, questionnaires that like my doctor would hand out where, they, have ask about different symptoms and things that have been happening in regards to, your pain levels and, diarrhea and like other symptoms that you may be having. And usually there's like one question about like sex drive or different things like that. But it's always also been kind of difficult to know, like, is it a loss of desire? Or like, is it more of a physiological effect because of either the treatment or the different things? Or is it in relation to some of the symptoms and side effects that you've been having? So my first 2 times that I was on immunotherapy, my biggest challenge was diarrhea. And like essentially I would eat something and within minutes I was having to go into the bathroom. Well, that causes a challenge if you want to have any type of form of intimacy, if the second party is running to the bathroom all of the time. So that can be an issue too. But then there was also nausea. At some point when I was on immunotherapy for a full year, by the end, or by closer to the end, I was starting to get, which is a common side effect with them, muscle aches and joint pains and other things where I felt like I was 90 years old walking around and just constantly uncomfortable. And I mean, those are really important things to recognize. And I do, like, intellectually, I know this isn't my fault. I have no control over how my body feels and how I'm going to be reacting to anything. But there is still a huge part where I feel guilty because I feel like I'm, I guess, failing as a wife or as a partner. And again, intellectually, I know that is not true completely. And Josh doesn't fault me for anything. But I know that there are times where he feels, sad, disappointed, and I'm sure many, many other feelings as well. I'm sure he also feels guilty if he feels like he's trying to push me towards something that I can't do or I'm not feeling like at any particular time. And then there's also just everything else that comes with it. The fact that so much of how I have, like the position I have in our family, essentially, is, I'm the one that's like making the doctor's appointments, going shopping, doing a lot of those things. He does a lot of that as well. But when cancer hits and you're going through all these things, I also had to let go of some of those things or learn how to ask for help, that like I just wasn't up to doing some of those things that I normally would have taken charge on. And it feels like you start to get an imbalance in your relationship. Again, probably not true, but emotionally, that's kind of how I have felt throughout this whole process, that, I'm a burden, or that like I said, like failing as a wife or a partner. And it's a really hard thing to break and to knock down. And I still have those moments. Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things that you can do, whether you are the person with a chronic illness or you're their partner, is work to have open and honest communication between the two of you. And that can be hard too, especially when emotions are running high as well because of everything going on. Josh and I do a whole lot of apologizing for things that we shouldn't have to apologize for. And then we get frustrated at the other person if that person is constantly saying, I'm sorry. But we can't help it. It's just kind of our, I guess I want to say knee-jerk reaction, where in our head we're starting to feel, that whole guilt thing again. And then if we have to say no or something different, that, those words just pop out of our mouths, and then it gets really frustrating for the other people involved. So, open, honest communication. And that's something we really, really work hard to do. One of the things that we said when we went to kind of like a pre-marriage thing before we got married many years ago. And it was like, never go to bed angry. Always try and resolve something before your head hits that pillow. And I think we've done a pretty good job. There have been a couple times where we've not lived up to that, but by the next morning, we're in a slightly better headspace and are able to kind of talk through what happened and why did we react the way that we reacted. And it works out pretty well. Yeah. Okay, I know I kind of went a little bit off topic and started talking about all kinds of other things, but I think that's also important too, is that intimacy in a relationship isn't just about sex. It isn't, just about that physical intimacy. It's about that emotional intimacy. And if you start to pull away, or your partner starts to pull away because of everything that's going on, that can make it really, really hard to manage that physical intimacy that you were both probably wanting, but it also hurts and makes it harder to manage everything else going on in your life because you might feel a little bit alone. So that's what I would say. I know there's probably other things I could say on that topic. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna, I guess, move on from there. So I will say, don't forget, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd very much appreciate it. That little bell button next to all of those will also send you notifications whenever we post a video. So, feel free to do that if you're interested. I have been doing these longer videos, usually putting them up on Sundays, and then I'm doing a daily check-in, which is usually just a couple minute check-in each day, kind of a challenge that I've set for myself to check in with myself, but also check in with you guys. And it's been really helpful, actually. It's helped me kind of center my thoughts and also pay closer attention to my own needs and things that are going on throughout the day, which I very honestly sometimes try and push aside, and that's not a good thing. So, all right, well, I think that's all I have for today. If you have questions, like specific questions, I am more than happy to answer them, specifically around intimacy or things like that. I am more than happy to answer them. I really wasn't sure exactly which direction to take with this video, so I just kind of I word vomited to you about it. So yeah, leave any questions that you have in the comments. I can either address them back to you in the comment, or if there's enough of them, I'll just, jump on with kind of a list of your questions and do a little Q&A on my next video. And that's perfectly fine as well. I appreciate you guys so much for watching, coming back, commenting almost every single day. It absolutely warms my heart. And I will see you later. Hold on. Let's see. Hey, Rayla. Come here, sweetie. Do you want to say hi? Come here. You got a little fake candle. Can you say hi? Who's that on the screen? Who's that right there?
A light.
Yeah, do you see the lights back there? Yay! Can you wave? Yeah, you have your little candle. Yeah, and your runny nose. She has a cold right now. Yay. Oh, and she's gonna mute us.
Oh, bullshit.
Oh. Okay, now it's time. We gotta say bye-bye. You say bye-bye.
I'll watch.
You're gonna watch. Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you later.